Oh, crazy.
Yeah, man. Definitely crazy, bro.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's good, people? What's good, man? I'm excited to be here on tonight with you all. It is that guy Jay Hen, man. I'm glad to be with y'all on tonight. Hopefully, y'all are as excited as I am on tonight. I got some dope people that's coming through. So it's going to be a dope show. I just want you to understand it's going to be a dope, 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 dope show. So you know, I'm already excited again about what's going on tonight, y'all. And this is going to be something that is truly unprecedented for what we like to do here. Again, I am that guy Jhen. In case you did not know, and this is going to be again a dope show. This is just talk. Like this is just a simple show with a simple meaning. Like ain't no sense in trying to figure things out when you could just simply talk about it. That's just the way it's supposed to be. You know, that kind of situation. So again, thank you all for joining us on tonight. I intend for this to be a dope show tonight. We have a couple of dope people on tonight. Somebody that's making great strides within the music industry, period. And that's going to be Master Title Showers. We have one of the greatest this is one of the greatest upcoming producers that you're going to find, and that is going to be a guy by the name of Ishmael Cotton and Cotton Melody Productions. He brought his friends along with him tonight, y'all. So it's going to be amazing, 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 and amazing. Again, also we have one of the greatest voices that you can hear in gospel music as of right. Name of Dre Marie is on the show tonight. So I want you guys to enjoy. I want you guys to sit back. I want you to really, really pay attention. So we're going to run this first promo here. I need you guys to lock into it for our first guest. Make sure you are liking, subscribing. The links will be all over the web. Make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's type in It's That Guy Jhen. You guys like it, share it, get people in the room. We're looking at comments and all this good stuff. We're looking at a bunch of stuff tonight. So again, y'all sit back, relax. We're gonna run this first video, and you're gonna know who my first guest is by the video. And yeah, let's get into this. All right.
Whatever I need, He will supply, as long as I ask in His name. Come on. All over the room, come on, lift your voice. Come on, declare it in His name. Whatever you need is in His name. Whatever I need, I found. Oh yeah. Oh, things will. How can I lose with Jesus? Lord, I wanna thank You for being my champion. In the name of Jesus, it will get better. In that name, I need you to help me sing it tonight. Yes, it will. In the name of Jesus, I know it will. I believe it will. Yeah, yeah. That's power in that name. In that name. Whatever it is, yeah, that you're going through, I need you to know He call your name. It's in the name. Oh God, I need you. We need you, Jesus. It's in your name. It's in your name. It's in that name. Every knee will bow. Hey, every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord. Jesus, hey, Jesus, oh Jesus,
So tonight, y'all already know I am super excited to be talking to one of the greatest artists right now that's hit the land. Period. That's all I'm gonna say about it because he is that guy. I'm talking about the guy that Titus Showers is with me tonight. What's up, man?
Oh, what's up, bro?
I am
Blessings on you, man. Truly
man.
appreciate your platform and having me on tonight.
I
What a blessing.
I'm excited, man. The truth of the matter is that you have been doing some amazing things across gospel music, hands down. And if you don't know, just for those who don't know, let me throw a few things up here just so you'll know that we're not just talking. This is what Titus Showers' platform looks like right now. Number one, Billboard top gospel album sales. Number four, top Christian gospel album sales. Number nine, top independent album sales. Number 18, emerging art. Now you gotta look at this. Number 40, all genre top album sales. You gotta look at it like this, man. First off, let's talk about. I want to talk about this. Let's jump from the beginning. From beginnings in Hammond, Louisiana, up into the point now. Where does the Titus Showers journey begin?
Wow, man. Man, thanks so much for that wonderful introduction, man. I'm indeed humbled by that, man. The journey started, man, on 709 J.W. Davis Drive. My parents, man, my dad asked the Lord to bless him with a singer, and the Lord blessed him with my oldest sister. And then my parents kept having children. So it's 10 of us, just in case the America don't know, and six girls and four boys. And the Lord just kept blessing my parents with children and adding and increasing and enlarging the territory, and God just kept seeing fit to answer my father's prayers, who was so faithful to God, man. So it started with my sister. Then I wanted to be like my big brother, and then my other sisters and brothers fell in line as they were born, and it was definitely a dream come true. My parents just was faithful to God, and my big brother, man, just tutored me and carried me around and showed me what to do and what not to do. And I thank God for his leadership, man. And my sister is amazing. She's the brain behind the operation. The Showers, we formed the Showers group, and we would sing before my dad preached. And definitely we changed keys and definitely had to perfect our craft. Definitely was just in the house, just learning how to perfect each other's craft and learning harmony. And the great teacher Terry Hart learned from Michael Jackson, man. Just great musicians from around Hammond, Louisiana was implementing great insight into our lives, and God just continued to bless. And then we just branded ourselves as the Lord continued to bless us as the Showers. And I promise you, I won't regret it and don't change anything.
And that's it, man. If you've never heard of the Showers family, man, this is probably one of the most prominent families when it comes down to gospel music. And when I'm talking about not just singers, but singers, like singers, you got to, and that leads me into my next question. Being that you come from such a family that was deeply rooted in church, and that, tell me about it. Like, did you even have a pull to just do strictly gospel music, or was the pull anywhere else in music? Like, I gotta find out. I have to know. I have to
Well,
know.
man, I'm great question, Johnny. Definitely, I'm a PK son, rooted and grounded. I never wanted to do any other type of music, but definitely the strings was pulling and the temptations was there because I'm a fan of music. I love R&B. I love Joe, but I never seen myself in that atmosphere
Right.
doing the R&B type things in the club environment. All because of me myself. I didn't want to disappoint my daddy. Now let me break that down. Not saying that anyone who has went to secular or R&B music or whatever soulful music is an embarrassment to their parents. I was just stating from Titus' perspective. I just didn't want to embarrass my dad. Man.
And
That's just
hey, and you got, and I'm glad you cleared that up because you know how people are. You already know how they act. You know they get real fresh and real brand new on you. Well, Titus said we
right.
out, we ain't no good because we that, and that's
Right.
just what it is. Like it's all about the journey, man. And one of the most, and I'm again, I was so grateful that. You agreed to do the show because it's a lot of local artists that are pushing their way and trying to get to that national platform level. And to see you from humble beginnings and even some of the situations that you guys have gone through. I remember, I'll never forget the day I just logged into Facebook one day and I saw the fire. And it took me out by surprise because one of the things that you want to do as somebody that supports anybody is you want to help. And it's one of the moments that we just kind of stuck, like we couldn't do nothing. I'm in Baton Rouge. This is going on in Hammond, but that didn't stop Titus Showers. That didn't stop the Showers family either. Let's dive into that moment. Like what did that moment do for your overall gospel career?
Wow, that was the birth of my entire album. I was being rumored to go solo because the family branded themselves, and each one of my sisters and even my brothers, we all have our own businesses. And my sisters are married, and they wanted to be home with their husbands. And I really had the stick to itiveness, and I really wanted it more than any of them wanted it. So
Mm-hmm.
Big Sis said, let's just invest into Titus, and we're gonna go that way. And this what happened, man. After tragic experience of losing a material possession of the fire, the Lord woke me up every morning around 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Couldn't get no sleep, and I began to write. I wrote my entire album. I did implement 2 songs on there that was written and produced by Dion Kipping, but
Right.
everything else on the CD was written by myself and produced by Lucius Hoskins, and my MD Sean Smooth Keys also contributed on the album. But every song on that was written by me, and I arranged the last song, Amen. That was a family moment. My grandmother, who died on a before she died on her dying bed, she used to sing that song, "Oh, our Father, Johnny Haven." Man, so that's my anthem right there. I can never leave that record. It's my family anthem, man, and that song was birthed from that. And I began to ministry at funerals, banquets, wherever you see Titus at, I have to sing that song. So I started to just implement it on my album.
And see, and that's one of the things about Titus that we have to celebrate at any given point because Titus Showers never forgets home. And now, no matter where he is, where I've seen him, where he's had, at what platform it is, I do remember even hearing the interview on Kurt Franklin Radio about it. The one thing he mentioned, probably more than his own name, was his hometown, his upbringing. And that goes to even just say for your local artists that are aspiring to get to that national platform, never forget where you come from, man. Because
And
your roots and your foundations, talk to them, let them know, T.
bro, man, that's what it's all about, man. Never forget where you come from and never forget, most importantly, who you're working for. Because if you remember who you're working for, you won't forget where you come from.
But
And
hey,
oh my
how
God,
he doing his
I
good
just
talking? I
pre
need an organ, y'all. I'm ready to tune him up, y'all. I'm ready
man.
to tune
And so,
him
man,
up.
I just believe in Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, God is not marked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So I try to sow. I try to be there to support all of the great artists around this way. Like my one of my great guys. I before I even write a song or put it out there, I hit Joel up. Joel is my listening ear. Joel
Right.
Jones, man, and so I sent Joel rough drafts of anything that I do.
Yeah, is he
He was
Joe's
like,
record?
bro, man. So it's good to have friends like that who can tell you what to do. That even confide in Jamari, guys like that. Arthur Gramillion, I send him some stuff before, just to have that friendship and fellowship is so important. And because when it gets cold at the top, and like Molly Music says, make sure somebody loves you, man.
I'm just drop it on them if you feel like it, man.
Man,
So, and that's the thing,
man, you
bro.
gotta,
That
yeah.
that is the thing, man. So and it's incredible again to see because let me just put it out there again. It's my platform, so I say some real crazy stuff, and I stand strong in what I say. But fact of the matter is, there's some people that haven't even got out the state yet, and they have this arrogance about them, and they have their chest
Man.
pulled out. You already know I was gonna go there, and that even leads me to like
Talk about it.
and that's some of the people that I just get. You can't tolerate to be around those weird people because they put a whole different energy in the room. But when Titus Showers hits the room, you know exactly what's about to happen. It's not about just to be this show, this play moment, no nothing. It can be just a mic, a keyboard. As a matter of fact, let me take you back maybe 2 or 3 years ago, out in Ponchatoula. We had a musicians appreciation, and the speaker system went out. Y'all,
Uh-huh.
the speaker system went out, and it wasn't nothing to great. Like things happen, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of them
Right.
situations where Titus turned his head, turned his back. Man, I'm not doing this until y'all get the sound. No, none of this. He stood flat-footed and just sang, y'all, like sang from his heart. So the heart of a musician, the heart of a minstrel, is everything that Titus Shower stands for, and it's amazing. Now, let me make this. Let me ask this other question that I really wanted to get out. In that same vein, since we're talking about that national platform, going from that local platform to a national platform, what would you tell these artists? What would be your key signature advice to these artists that are really trying to build on something that they really want? They want this bad, but what helped Titus Showers get to that national platform?
Well, man, it started with my sister studying the business, man, because we came out with an independent project that nobody ever heard. But because we didn't have our business right, and like the people were saying, man, you can have talent, but there's somebody that's on the street corner that can out sing you as well.
Facts.
There's somebody that's in the jailhouse. Look at my guy that just was on they did 37 years in prison and came out and blazed the stage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's always somebody better than you. So it's not so much your gift; it's about knowing the business as well. And you got to have a $2 or $3 in your pocket where you can invest in yourself. You can't get out there and put out a great record and think a radio station or a record company is going to pick you up. That's not going to happen. This
Nah.
is not back in the gap when John them was selling 500,000 units, going gold and platinum. Kirk them. You have to have your business in order. And so my sister studied the business and she created this independent label called A&P Records. The A stand for Aquila and the P stand for Priscilla. But for those of you who don't know, those two ladies ministered to Jesus on his way to the cross. So,
Come on,
so
talk
man, I,
about
I
it,
had to share that.
Bishop. Come
And so,
on.
listen. So my sister studied this business and she perfected it. We have a whole team. We have a publicist in order. And then we had something that the people wanted to hear. You can't just say that the record sounds good to you and it don't sound good to the consumer because the consumer has to buy the record.
That's
And
it.
that's why I shop at the Joe. That's why I shop at the Arthur and Misha and Drea and all of these other people, who I can depend on to tell me the truth. That's why I shop the record to them and see what their insight is, and we go from there. And then I have another platform that I can use like Dion Kipping and Jason Hodge, Jason Hardy, those guys, Sean, they mean so much to me because they tell me good things. Reg, he is actually played on my album. Jason played on my album.
See,
I don't forget my homeboys, Terry, all those guys. So I'm getting off track. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited.
oh no, you
But
got it,
anyway,
man. You
you
got it.
gotta have that business in order and definitely get your business straight and then you can market your product. You got to have a radio guy to push it because they not going to push your record just because you stand outside and do it their way like they did back in the 60s.
Let me,
Now, oh, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna do it, no, no. I'm sorry. You show, better rate. You remember that stuff, but
Yeah,
they
man.
they don't do it that way. It's become a different vein, man, and everybody's not going to share your stuff. So you gotta put some time. You gotta put some business. You gotta do it all. Some money, invest in yourself. And if you don't have enough to pay for a whole album, invest in that one powerful record,
Come on.
and then
Talk
let that
about
be
it.
your platform. Let that be your
Say
platform,
and it was and it's, again, I'm glad that we have somebody that again has superseded the industry standard, because truth of the matter is, let's be real. Let's be real. A lot of people across the nation don't really know the talent that is down in Louisiana. Let's talk like, they go and they search the Calis, they search New York, Atlanta, Chicago. They hit those hot spots that have been musical hot spots for a while. But Louisiana has some of the best and greatest talent, hands down. Like literally hands down. They have some of the greatest talent that they can ever have. So again, I want to make sure that y'all know. I want to make sure y'all know that Titus Showers is just not your run of the mill, fly by night type. Music. That's not who he is. As a matter of fact, like, and again, let's talk. Let's switch and talk about this. The same project, that was doing some great stuff. Let's talk about the project. Who is the last project he's put out, and it has like, again, you see the accolades right there. You see what this has done. You know exactly what it has done. So tell me about the entire album. This album project has been just phenomenal.
man. Definitely. Let's start with the title. The title comes from the Word of God, Matthew 15, man. When Jesus finished performing miracles and feeding and giving them fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed the 5,000. So, Peter came and said, man, they out there talking about you. And so Jesus said, what they saying? He said, they say, some of you say you are John the Baptist. Some say you this and some say you that. But Jesus rephrased the question of Peter and say, who do you say that I am?
Come
And
on.
Peter said, thou art the Christ. So the whole part of the title was to let the world know about him. And secondarily, you can find about Titus Showers, man. And God blessed me tremendously to work with a great producer, man. And I don't burn bridges with guys, man. I can call Sean. I got Jason on speed dial every single day. That's my guy. And other guys that I want to implement into my circle. Drill featured with background vocals on this album. I called Joe, he couldn't make it. I called Torian, they couldn't make it. I had some pastors come in, did some BGVs. I had like Lawrence Cook and Shirley Mitchell, just several people to come and implement their BGVs. Josh Kergler came to one of the studio sessions. Reg did the engineering. Man, I was just wanting to make it a big family ordeal, man. And prayerfully on this next one, we can get everybody to come and celebrate with me in the studio and feature or do some background or help in any kind of way. And just all these songs that the Lord has given me, I'm just so excited to share it with the world, man.
And again, man, this guy has been a phenomenal, like, again, just an industry leader when it comes down to this entire music piece. Titus Showers has done some just amazing stuff. Let me just put it out there, just like that, y'all. He's done some amazing. Let me just like, can I take a moment just to brag on our own amazing type stuff when it comes down to the gospel music scene. So like, we've been super proud. Again, I'm going to support regardless. I don't care where you are. That's just one of the things that I've learned to do. And that's just who I am. Like, the support piece is one of the biggest pieces that you could ever to do for anybody. And that's one thing. Let me throw this out here, because I got Marcy on here. Marcy, she talk about me. And she talk about me because she know I'm gonna be like real upfront. This support piece. The names that you just listed are just a lot of the people that are in our local area. How do you feel about the grandstanders that don't put that level of support behind their own? Let's talk.
Wow. It's definitely a hurting feeling, um, especially because I never did anything to you. All it is God has blessed me. And a great preacher came down in February and he said, I want to tell you, Christian, something. You stop. sugarcoating or stop hiding what the Lord has done for you. If He gave you a big house, you brag on that big house. If He gave you number one album in the country, you brag on that. And listen to what He says: "My soul shall make a boast in the Lord."
That's
Oh
it.
my God! As long as you brag in Jesus, you have no reason to worry about who don't like it or who disagrees with you. You just brag in the Lord. And so it does hurt because we all are human, but definitely God always have some new supporters for you. Man, let me say that again.
Talk about
God has some new supporters for you. You just don't get weary. That's my favorite scripture, and that's in Galatians 6:9. Don't get weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. So, as many as people that turned on me and don't want to support, man, I get discouraged if I don't see you like or share an accomplishment, and I know I sent you that cash out. You know
ah.
what I'm saying?
Come
I
on,
know I
man.
bless you because that's
Come
one
on.
thing I tell them cats. If I can't make it, what's your cash out?
That's
And
it.
many of them can echo those same sentiments that I do bless them. And so I was like, that's cool, but I don't treat them bad. I know I hear chatter in the streets. I
Yeah.
still, what's up, dog? Cool, you
Yeah.
good? But I know how to feed them though. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to continue to let the Lord fight my battles. Because I can't fight those battles. And definitely continue to put out to the people what the Lord has given me, and He continues to enlarge my territory. Man, I've been flying every weekend, man. Every weekend I was flying before the pandemic to different churches, and they wasn't giving me $2 and $3. Man, the Lord was really blessing me. I had to get a manager. It's just a blessing from God to be little Titus Showers coming from a poor family where my dad was the only one to work, man. And then the joke is they said your mom couldn't work because she kept having kids. But definitely, man, mom never held a public job. And just to see where we came from, that four-bedroom and one bath and 12 people in the house, man, you just don't know how I want to brag on the Lord. And you
That's
mean
it.
to tell me I'm going to let a hater stop me from bragging? Man,
And that's it.
my soul.
Shall make a boast. Come on, Bishop. I'm telling y'all, I should have put the keyboard in here because young Tyke preaching up in this thing, y'all, and
Man,
that's
I'm
just
just
what it
being
is.
honest, man.
And
New
I'm a,
supports.
and that support piece is so big, and I think that's one of the main things that contributed to your overall success. I have to say this, I want to take this as the last one, and we're gonna let you get up out of here, man, because of course Titus Showers is the man when it comes down to it. Listen to this. So there was a trend of the entire gospel scene that began to go into this more so inspirational kind of positivity message, and you begin to, I think, hear the name of Jesus less. That's why the song in His name really touched the heart of people, because there's one thing that you were not afraid to do that a lot of artists now are kind of trying to flex and trying to please everybody, was call on the name of Jesus. I just gotta say it like it is. I gotta say it like it is. What do you feel about the gospel music, the entire brand of it all, from what we used to, what we grew up on, to what you hear now?
Man, major change, man. And this is what I'm glad you said that. My dad wants me to mention that name on every record.
That's
He
it.
don't care nothing about no crossover. He don't care nothing about all that. So I build that message around him. And when I mention his name, he said, after you mention his name, you can go to the he and the you and the him. But he's an old school cat.
Yeah.
He says God is not a you because you can be a you. He said God is a thou. Look at that King James. Me, thou. He's one of those old school cats. So he said, man, God deal with that kind of, because anybody can be a you. But he,
Anybody
so
could,
he
y'all. That's a tweetable moment. Y'all need to go tweet that tonight somewhere. Anybody could be a you.
anybody can be a you. So man, definitely he wants me to build that message, mention that name, and then you can go on into this new translation of things. And definitely it's a blessing that to have that tutelage from him. And I always keep that mindset. But with the new music, man, um, you love it, but it's at the same time, you know, when you really need to hear that name, you have to go to certain artists just to pull it from, or you got to go to these choir, the Mississippi Mass Choir, or you got to go to I want to be pleasing.
Ah.
Tell Joe what's up. You gotta go over there to Arthur. You gotta go to Josh. You gotta go get that old healing medicine stuff
Yeah.
that is out there,
Not
just as a
healing
reminder
medicine.
that he still is the man. And nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with the crossover records, man, because those checks are different from my checks.
Talk,
But
man.
at the end
You
of
gotta talk about.
hey, man, let's be honest, man. Let's
That's
be
so.
honest, man.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
be honest. So in the industry, once you write your own stuff, you get quarterly checks. You get every 3 months you get a check. And so when you do, you get paid for your streams, your downloads, and you get paid for I forget what else. So those are the royalties. Oh, radio. I'm sorry, and
radio.
also
Yeah.
radio. And
Okay.
and once you get up there to that top 20s and stuff, those are different checks. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But you get to that number one, that's different check.
Yeah. That.
But with Kirk's records that he's putting out, man, Kirk is not changing. Kirk is the millionaires, man. These boys getting great money. You know what I'm saying?
Big
And,
money.
and, and they
Big
still
money.
centering it around that message, but it's definitely different from what we grew up on. Because I'm a huge John P. Key guy, and I grew up on John, and and back then those guys were selling platinum and gold before, right now, you know, come on, man. You can do 20,000 units on stream and you the man. Come on.
Right.
But, so it's just different checks, and that makes it different from the guys who mention the name Jesus and those who, say, you've been good to me, or who you made away,
Right.
da da da. So it's just different checks, man.
Yo, man. So y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna get ready to display a new video that has come out. This latest song, this one here, it's gonna be all right remix featuring Jermaine Dolly. Yes, the Jermaine Dolly. Again, why we worried? Like, why should I even ask the question on how this is working? You were Titus Showers. This is what was it like working with Jermaine Dolly, man?
Man, it was a blessing, man. But I've been knowing Dolly, man. We stayed in touch. We both are independent artists, and then we just admired each other. You doing the same thing I'm doing, investing in yourself, man. And I just thank God that He's afforded me that blessed privilege to meet guys out there who actually know my name, and I speak to those guys because I'm not one of those going up to the cats and being industry groupies, man. I'm just humble type. I'm in the room with Cat. What's up, man? Bless you, bro. Go about my business.
That's
But
it.
man, with Jermaine, it was a fellowship, and we just traveled together, man, and definitely stayed in touch. And I called him up to feature on his record, and he was excited because this is his first feature. And man, so he put his time into it, man, and we had a blast in the studio. And it was just, hey, look at the work, look at the product. I'm excited about it.
Dope, man. So, Titus Showers, again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come through and bless the platform, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing in gospel music, hands down. And y'all stick around. We're gonna run this video for you, and we'll see y'all in a few minutes. Got it.
Dale, what's up, baby?
Yo, good brother.
It's your boy, man. Titus Showers, man. You in town? I heard you was in New Orleans chilling, man.
Yeah, man, I'm in your city.
Cool, man. But look, come swing by the studio with me, man. I got this great record. I want you to feature on with me, man. Meet me up. Dale, what's up, baby?
Yo, good brother.
It's your boy, man. Titus Showers, man. You in town? I heard you was in New Orleans chilling, man.
Yeah, man, I'm in your city.
Cool, man. But look, come swing by the studio with me, man. I got this great record. I want you to feature on with me, man. Meet me up 2:30, 2 o'clock or so. You know, we'll chop it up. I'll see you there.
Give me the address.
I'm gonna shoot you the address through the text.
All right, I'll be in a little bit.
All right, cool.
Cool, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be alright. I know it's gonna be alright. Listen if you will. Yeah.
It's working for my good. What I could.
Hey.
Even though I ain't good.
It's gonna be alright. Say it again.
It's working for my good.
Gotta do what I could. Even though I ain't. I once was lost in sin. Your grace came and took me in. Gave me a resting place. Thank you for amazing grace. You kept on covering me in the midst of all my wrong. You stay right by my side. Your love was my guide.
It's working for my good.
Gotta do what I could, even though I ain't what I should. Jermaine, darling,
I don't do what I used to do. Ever since he made my life brand new, he changed all my wrongs and gave me a brand new song. That's why I depend on you, 'cause I know you can see me through. You never left me lonely. I know, I know, I know. I gotta do what I could, even though I ain't what I should.
there's no secret what God can do. What He's done for me, He'll do it for you. No matter what I have done, it's gonna be
And time is
alright.
after all that we've been through. To keep on carrying me through. Thank you for pulling me through.
Gotta keep loving you, Jesus. Hey, your love is all I need. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I know it's working. Gotta do what I could, even though I ain't what I should. Hey, tell somebody today if it's been good to you. Oh, it's been good to me. Oh,
It's been good.
listen, help me say, oh, hey, it's gonna be
It's gonna
alright.
be alright.
Yes, it is. Oh,
Yeah, man.
hey, it's gonna be alright. Say, oh,
Yeah.
hey, it's gonna be alright. Oh,
It's gonna be. It's gonna be.
whoa, sometimes I have to remind myself, no matter what I've done,
He loves me. Oh, how he loves
You see, it's so good to know that He loves me.
He can work it out for you, 'cause He loves you.
Oh, oh.
He loves me.
Oh,
Oh, how he loves me.
Oh, how He loves me. Yeah. Oh, darling, when I fall down, He's there to pick us up. When I'm lonely and it seems like nobody cares, He loves me.
You see, Titus, I know that He loves us so.
He loves,
He loves, He loves,
way this one feel, Lucius. Let's go.
Me too. Yeah.
Come on.
He loves us. Hey, he loves us. Hey, say he loves us. Ha, he loves us. Hey, say he loves us. Ha, he loves us.
Boy,
Hey,
you crazy.
you
Let's go,
say.
let's go. Come on. Got another one. Got another one down late.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you. Good
Yeah,
brother.
dog.
Word up. Good brother.
Get it, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
Yo, what's good, y'all? I'm back. Again, y'all give a hand again for the man Titus Showers. Going into our next portion, we got some dope people again that have come in to hang with us tonight, and I'm excited about them being here 100%. This is one of the dopest, number one of the most humble musicians that I've gotten a chance to know and appreciate, not only just who he is as a person, but his overall gift. And I'm talking about if you know, and then he has a label that's getting ready to. Me personally, I know for a fact that it's going to take the world by storm. And not only did he come by himself, nah, you don't come along when you have greatness coming with you. You got to bring somebody great with you. So tonight, y'all, we have another dope person in the house. I have none other than Cheese himself, Ishmael Cotton, along with the great Reverend, great Dr. Bishop, DC Cross. I'm excited for y'all to be here tonight,
Thank you for having us, man. Appreciate you. I appreciate this opportunity, man.
Oh man, dude, it's so many ways I want to actually start this conversation off, but
ahead, man.
let's start it off like this. Tell the people who Ishmael Cotton is, because this guy has come. Like again, if you've ever heard him play, number one, you know that he's one of the most musical, I would say musical, hands down musicianship type people that you would ever run across. Like I'm just hands down, he's like amazing at what he does. Then too, the person he brought with him, you ever heard DC sing you in just by saying praise the Lord. Like it don't take much. It don't take much at all. If you've ever been in a service with either of these guys in the mountain, most likely if you've seen DC, you have seen Ishmael Cotton. But jumping right into it, what's the story behind such an anointing, such a skilled, and such a humble musician?
The story behind it, man, it's pretty much my upbringing, to be honest with you, man. My upbringing, my family. Like that's pretty much like how I am is what I saw growing up, man. Just you know, with my dad, my uncles, my grandfather. You know, he's like the person that pretty much started off. Like my grandfather, Eugene Cotton III, the Eugene Cotton III, started it off with my uncles and my dad. You know, giving them piano lessons, and then my dad started off giving me piano lessons, and then it kind of trickled. You know, it kind of coupled with my uncle Allen and my uncle Alden as well. They all, like my whole family, pretty much they contributed to me being who I am. And then me growing up, me being around my dad and my uncles, seeing how they interacted at the churches that they served in. So pretty much what you see from me is just a reflection of them. I seen how they took what they did and took pride in what they did, man. And so I saw that. So to be honest with you, that's all I knew. So when I'm at church, that's how I take it. I never seen them. And that's one thing that I always admired about them. I've never heard them say anything about money. Like always complain about money. I've never heard them say anything negative about a musician, talk bad about a musician, go in. I've never seen them treat people bad. So me growing up, that's just how how I was. So I just kept it going. And then even getting around other musicians, I seen, of course, we've seen some of the things like that happen, but I've seen great musicians that will just wipe the floor with me,
Right?
just as humble. And I'm like, well, if they at this level, why should I have an attitude, or why should anybody have an attitude? So I just kept that, man. And I've learned, man. Like I feel like it's been great. And then also just God doesn't represent that, and I always want to represent God in everything that I do. So I want to be a great representation of God. So like I said, I don't. That's just me. It's just, to me, I think it's that simple, but it's not simple at the same time.
And at the same, and it makes me, and I have to do this only because, it seems like not only just a friendship type connection, but it's a divine
Hmm.
connection for you to be connected with someone of the caliber of DC Cross. I'm gonna pass that question to you as well.
Yeah.
Like, what comes behind what did that passion come from for not only just serving in ministry in the church, but what did that passion come? What was that upbringing that kept you clinging to the cross that we don't even say things like that no more in church?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely seeing the faith of the older saints. And that's why I
Yeah.
think I'm so old in my spirit now because I admired what I saw when I would see the deacons pray. And it meant a lot to me to see men praying.
Come
Like that
on.
was a big deal for me. It wasn't always, women pray powerfully, but it's something about seeing a man pray and growing up. That's what stuck with me. That's what really developed my prayer life. Seeing the deacons in the church pray and then hearing them tune up, I was like, wait a minute, I want that. And so for me, it stuck with me seeing the heritage of the faith of the older saints. And that's been a driving force for me just to, they would sing songs and they would pray prayers that just stuck with my spirit. Singing songs like, I just can't afford to let my Savior down.
Ah.
That kind of stuff registered with my spirit and registered in my mind that kept me grounded, seeing the faith of those that went before me.
See, and that's again, as I even just told Titus, that's one of the things that you don't see as of right now. You don't have people that remember those moments. Like again, being a musician, like though that old church is really what sustained us, I think, in music now, and what's keeping us moving. And a lot
Yeah.
of us, I think we've gotten so concerned with something that, to speak to what Ish just said about it, that money aspect. That we're more so concerned about getting a paycheck than making sure that through that song somebody might get delivered, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so to hear two young men not only just live for God, but then give their gifts that were given to them back to God is just amazing within itself. And that makes me act that leads me right into the next question. What were some of the biggest influences other than just those strong deacons, other than your upbringing? What were some of the musicians and the singers that may have inspired your musical journey?
I know for me, man, it was outside of my family. The people that had like a hands on with me was my former MD Jerry Henderson, our bass player that was at the church with me at Greater Mount Calvary at the time.
Okay.
But Jerry Henderson and a lot of musicians know him. Great musician, bro. He was hands on with me, and also my musical mentor, Pastor Mays One. Between those two, they got me right. And the funny thing is, they had the same philosophy, but their approach to it was two different ways, man. Like one was like night and day, but their philosophy was the same thing. Like Jerry was more of your in your face, make sure we right, and Mays was like that more. But what Pastor Mays was more of that like he'll come talk to you and make you like he'll make you feel comfortable and he'll make you feel great. Even though you're messed up, like he'll make you feel disappointed that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So between those two, and of course countless others of guys around the city, like J. Damian Brown at Life Center, Javon Brown, AJ Littleton, like guys like that, they like when I tell you I called and bugged them a lot. Between all those guys, and this, I promise you, is much more. Those guys helped me a lot, and even my peers. Like I have to give my peers a shout out. One of my main guys, Brandon Butler, he helps me out,
Dope,
man. He's
dope
there with me.
organist.
Joe Johnson, like those guys like that. Kevin Lampton, those guys, like they help me out, man. They got my mind right, bro. So like, and even Elvin Ford, like outside of just piano, just different musicians, man. Like they was there, man. So they saw the growth and they helped me out. So those were like my main influences in as far as the city's concerned.
And that's still great because a lot of us as musicians don't have that support system. We don't
Yeah,
have, honest to God, like they have people I know for a fact that would just let you sham. And
yeah,
not only would they let you sham, but then they would start a group thread about how bad you shammed, Um, you know, I knew you were supposed to go to the seven on that, but he played the five instead. You know
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
right.
DC,
Yeah.
the same question to you, man. Like, what were some of the artists and some of the people that influenced that musical journey?
Growing up, Marvin L. Winans,
Come on, man. What you?
Come
Come
on,
on,
my
what you
DC.
know
dude.
about Marvin?
Come on, G.
Listen,
Come on.
listen. Marvin Winans was definitely the voice for me.
Yes,
The
sir.
control that he has, the smoothness that he has. Like a lot of times, everybody think it's all about the hype of it, but Marvin will get right there and just take you where you gotta go. And that's one person who I absolutely admire. Bishop Paul Martin. I grew up on all of Bishop Martin's stuff. Like every time Bishop would sing, I would be zoned in just to see the. It just helped me develop the passion to want to be a singer. And believe it or not, one of my one of my favorite singers is G.E. Patterson.
Come
I,
on, Doc.
you know,
Wait,
it, li-
wait. Listen,
listen,
I'm gonna run. I'll
listen,
jump out this camera right now, man. What you know about the
listen.
great
I
Doctor
mean,
GE?
that's somebody my grandmother would listen to. She had every cassette. She'll write down the order number every Sunday to get Bishop stuff. Like I mean, and that's what I grew up on. That's the sound that I had with me, that I've always kept with me. It was developed through these guys, seeing these men going forth with amazing gifts, but solid, and
Facts,
they've been
big
consistent
time, big time.
over the years.
Like, because you just hit a good spot with me, G. Patterson. You do know the one of the presiding bishops of the Church of God in Christ. And again, I'm honestly, and people like I get criticized and criticism and hit for this, but there hasn't been a bishop since G. Patterson to even to
No, sir.
hit the pulpit and hit one of them good old meters. I ain't talking about just no regular gospel song. I mean an old meter and set the whole church
Yeah,
on fire. You got to catch and sit people down before you even start preaching. Like, yeah, that's something
listen.
heavy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that same oil I believe that flowed over G. Patterson is flowing over you because again, there's not been a moment I think I've encountered you ministering to the people where it has been a fake, phony, false anything. It literally has been when the oil flows, and it's just flowing. It's just what it is, So that's something that we often
Sure do.
we never overlook. We often overlook, but never really appreciate. That kind of a situation. So in doing it, to both of you, I have to do that. This level of respect that everybody has for you both. Again, I tell you, I sit back and I pay attention. I may not say much to anybody, I may not say much to everybody, but I pay attention to a lot. And that's one of the things that I can honestly say on both of you is that people have the highest level of respect for you both. And it's not, and it's one of the things I see is that because neither one of you are arrogant by what you do. Let's talk about this arrogancy that has come along with the giftings in the church. Let's talk about it for a quick second. And yeah, I'll tell you, like that. I love the digging into this kind of stuff because nobody wants to talk about this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael, one of the baddest musicians, hands down, and you can stick your chest out 1,000 times. However, DC can like DC, all he get in there, I said, praise the Lord. By the time he get to the Lord, everybody's already upside down. And you can stick your chest out like, man, you know how people, I mean, we killed the house, man. I dumped them, Doc. No. The level of respect that you guys have obtained. Let's talk about this for a minute. Let's talk about it. So your views on this arrogancy that has come along with the gifting.
DC, you want to tackle it first? So what you want to do?
Let me go.
Let's
All right.
go, Bishop.
I think that if we really, really understood, and the reason I don't have, or I could never have a spirit of arrogance, is because when I realized how many times I've messed up,
Ah,
and God looks beyond my faults and still uses me the way He does,
come on.
it puts me in a place of humility because you have no idea the countless times that I thought that my privately it was nothing that, and that's another thing. Wait a minute,
Let's talk.
that he did not allow some of the stuff that I did to get out.
Come on.
That's enough right there
You know
to
what?
keep me in a place of humility, because to know that it could have been me, it should have been me. I have all the reasons to be shut down, and yet he still does not allow my gift to go stale. He
Ah,
still does not allow the anointing to, he doesn't take away his anointing. That is what keeps me humble, because I realize I can't do it without him. I realize that I can't make it without him. My notes will be off without him, like no glory, no nothing without him. And that's why I constantly stay in a place of repentance, number one, because God, please keep me covered.
that's it.
And a
That's
lot
it.
of people, they get exposed and they still want to be arrogant.
Come
Your
on.
stuff is out there and you still want to be arrogant. And God has a way of humbling us. That's why I humble myself,
Come
because I
on,
don't want
man.
God to humble me.
Come on, man. Like that. That
So I
speaks
take the
volumes.
position and do what the Bible says and humble yourself under the almighty hand of God. Because I don't have time for him to do the humbling. I'd rather him not do the humbling,
Yeah,
because he
right.
has a way of doing it. And so, when you keep that mindset and when you keep that posture, it kind of keeps you leveled in a place. And also being around people who aren't arrogant like Ishmael, being
Ah,
around the right
facts.
company of people
Yeah.
and seeing their character and seeing their integrity. A lot of stuff we feed off, not just when we're ministering, but even in our own personal lives. A lot of things he talks to me about, and he shoots stuff at me just to see where my head is on it, to make sure we in the same, in the same level, so we won't misrepresent ourselves and misrepresent Christ,
And that's the powerful
because the
thing.
Bible says a good name is above riches.
That's what
So
it
I mean,
says. That's what the
it's a major thing to
yeah.
make sure that you have a good representation and that you have integrity. Integrity is who you are when folk are not around.
Come on, man. You talk about it.
So I
You
mean,
talking
it's
it.
a big deal, and it's something that you definitely, it's a character that you definitely have to constantly put in on display. I'm done.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I see why you wanted him to go first, man.
Listen, man. Listen, that's why I pass the crosses. That's why I hang around him, bro. To keep our minds right, bro. But yeah, man. But like, just at the end, what he just said, man, the integrity, bro. Like
Mm.
that's my main reasoning for not having it. And I feel like, and it's no down. Like I don't, like I said, I don't look down on other people who's not there yet. Because I remember a time, and it's weird, because when I was just starting out to play, and somebody would give me, oh man, you did good. When I tell you they used to shoot to my head, and I would act arrogant, and like that next week on a Sunday morning, I would be get humbled right quick, because like I'll tell you this, man, and no lie, like when I first started at the church, um, Pastor Gullish, well, Apostle Gullish now, but at that time, Pastor Gullish, he's a singer as well. He's a musician as well, so he's a singing pastor.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he's a pastor that sings also, I should say. So
Got you,
so he
got
just started singing songs, and then the funny thing is, these wasn't songs that I've never played before for him before, or he didn't, or that I didn't know. It was songs that I've played for him countless times. But this a particular Sunday, I I couldn't catch it to save my life. When I tell you, bro, and I'm like, and I tell you just that feeling of, I know the whole everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? When I tell you that right there, that moment there was like, yeah, you need to check yourself. You're not as good as you think you are, man. At any moment, it can, you know what I'm saying? Like this can happen to you. So at that moment, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I
you,
can't
man.
be arrogant. And then also, like I said, my upbringing, that was never me. So I'm acting out of character, trying to, be like, oh, I'm this and I'm not that. Nah, man. Like, like I said, that's just not me, bro. And so people who act like that, I don't, I try to talk to them about it, but once I see it's not going nowhere, then I kind of just back off and let them do them. But at the same time, bro, yeah, I just, I just don't see the point of being arrogant. I just don't. To me, because like, and then even Titus mentioned this. There's always somebody better. You know
Facts.
what I'm saying?
Big
Especially
facts.
nowadays, like I'm 33 years old, bro. That's like probably a 10-year-old kid now that will
Probably.
wipe the floor with me on keys and organs.
Oh,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why would I be arrogant? Like, what's the point? Matter of fact, not even 10. Key Era. Look,
Right.
Key Era Jones plays at
Yeah.
my church,
yeah,
bro.
You
The
know.
girl,
yeah.
listen, she's 19 years old. Why would I be arrogant? You see what I'm saying?
This
So
is
there's no
facts.
reason to be
Yeah.
arrogant, bro. There's no reason for anybody to be arrogant, man.
This is
So and then
this.
also, man, just like I said, that's not how God operates. And God, if somebody needs to be arrogant, it should be God. But come on, bro. Like, so none of us are on that level, man. And I just feel like everybody's still learning and growing, so there's no room for arrogance at all. So that's just me. I don't operate like that, man. And I hope the people around me don't acting that way as well. Like I said, DC said, man. That's why I love calling him about stuff, talking to him about stuff, because of where his mind is. We just heard him speak. We heard it, man. We
Yeah,
heard how
you're
he is,
right.
man.
Like I'm gonna be
So
honest with you, and I think that's one of the things that we lack, even as people in the general. We have friendships, we have kinships, but we don't have that covenant brotherhood,
yeah.
sisterhood situation that will check us when we need to be checked. To help us balance and keep ourselves on that. You talk about the book of Amos that tell you quick, like two can't walk together unless they're in some type of agreement.
Agree.
Even if you agree to
Yeah.
disagree, you still got to be in some type of agreement. In that kind of
Hmm.
situation, and it helps keep you in that level head and that narrow mindset that we have a job to complete and a job to do. And it dives right into this. So that question I was going to ask about the musical habits, but there we go. We just dived right
Hmm.
into the actual habits of you both as it pertains to your musical gifts and just practicing and that kind of thing. Well, let's look at it as far as that. Um,
Hmm.
Working with your gift, what would you tell some of the younger generations that are coming up, guys? There's some old cats that are still arrogant, but there's some new cats that are coming along that didn't have that mentorship like we had back in the gap. They didn't have anybody that took us under the wing, that taking them under their wing. What would you give to them as far as advices with their overall abilities to practicing, to making sure you really really polish your gift?
Uh, I would say first, uh, as far as like going to polishing your gifts and everything, as far as practice habits, I'll say first develop a prayer life. I was watching like a long time ago. I was watching this guy. I forgot his name, but I was watching this guy, and he said what he do is he practice and pray. So I developed a prayer life when I was like younger. And
Right.
when I mean younger, I mean like in my 20s. That's when I really started getting more serious about prayer. And so I developed a prayer life, and then I practice. As much as I practice, I would pray, because
Ah,
those two go hand in hand. A lot of people don't really understand. Like you just like yeah, you can practice all day you want, but if you don't have a prayer life, if you ain't hearing from God, if you don't have a relationship with God, how can you minister to people? How can you say, "Oh yeah, God told me to do this"? If y'all don't have a relationship, so if you don't have his, I'm saying if you don't have your number, how can y'all talk?
come
So
on,
that's
man.
so I
Reverend.
do have a prayer life with God. So I encourage even the younger or older musicians have a prayer life first, and then practice habits. Find out, have first of all, like you said, find a mentor, have a mentor, somebody that's gonna be real with you and tell you this is what you need to work on. And then also don't be so hard in your feelings. Because if you understand, and then that goes with finding the right person. So if you find the right person, you know where their heart is coming from. So if they
Right.
tell you this, you know it's not coming from a place of anger or hating, as most people would say, or they hating on me. Nah, they know that they're trying to help you, because where you are now, they've been there.
Right.
So they're trying to tell you, okay, this
Right.
is what you need to do. This is what you need to watch out for. This is that. Don't do this. Don't do that. So I'll say find a mentor, and they can kind of guide you. And then like a lot of times a lot of us know what we need to work on. To be honest with you, to tell the truth, a lot like I hear myself play. Like I know I need to work on this, because when this happened, when such and such was singing, I felt very uncomfortable. I felt out of place.
Right.
So I'll say do that. Develop a prayer life, and also find a great mentor. And then also that doesn't mean necessarily mean that for a skill level that they way better than you. Just the knowledge, just somebody that knows what they're talking about.
That's
So that's how I
amazing.
look at it, man.
Amazing. DC. What you say, man?
Yeah. Definitely. Number one, it like it said, it starts with a prayer life. Um, the more you pray, God will develop
Hmm.
what you have. And so I know that is one thing that is a number one component with trying to develop your gift is praying, and God will stir up the gift on the inside of you.
Yeah.
Um, but another thing is Well, I am a part of Cotton Melody Production. Shout out to Cotton Melody Production.
Yes.
I'm a part
CMP.
of Cotton Melody Production, but I'm also privileged to work with Ishmael every. Listen, these claps are a lot, but I'm also privileged to work with him every Sunday at Mount Calvary International. So one thing that Ishmael drills in us is, some people say practice makes perfect, but he says perfect practice makes perfect.
That's it.
And so you always have to put yourself in a place where you, well, myself, I constantly listen to myself to make sure that, you know, I'm constantly critiquing myself. And you have to be your number one critic.
Ah,
If you ain't get it right, find out what you got to do to get it right the next time. There are songs that I have sung 1,000 times, but every time I sing it, I try to take it to the next level.
right,
And
right.
so that's one thing that we as minstrels must do. Always never box yourself in to say, oh, I got this. No, challenge yourself to go to the next level, because like Ishmael said, no matter how good you are of a singer, somebody else is blowing. And so, I mean, find your vein and work your vein. People
That's
say it all the time, bloom where you're planted.
come
Don't
on.
try to be the next nobody else but
Come
you.
on.
Yeah,
Bring
man.
yourself to the next level, bring yourself to the next dimension with what God has given you, and perfect your own gift. Stop mimicking everybody else.
See?
Perfect what God has given you and be the best. There are some people that can sing better than me, but they cannot sing like me.
Come
God
on.
gave me something that I am secure with, and I ain't trying to compete against nobody else. I ain't trying to sing better than nobody else. I want to do DC Cross. When you hear DC Cross, I want you to hear DC
That's
Cross.
big
And
facts.
I'm going to be the best DC Cross anybody has ever seen, because I'm okay with what God has given me, and I'm working on what God has given me. So
Yeah.
that's the advice that I would give anybody. Find out who you are
That's it.
and work at being the best you can be.
So you
Man.
see why I got this dude around me, bro? Come on, man.
Woo!
Come on,
Like, and that's the thing, man. Like the both of you, like it is not only just encouraging me as a musician,
bro.
one that sings and that kind of thing, but the idea behind it is that the originality factor is no longer there. Everybody wants to do everybody now. Everybody wants to be, like I
Yeah.
said, your influence was Marvin Winans, but you're not up singing like Marvin Winans. Again,
I
um,
can't
you can't
can't
like
do it.
you just can't as much as you
Listen,
try. There was a comedian, Broderick Rice, that says
yeah, I tried.
Marvin Winans can get in sing the alphabet and you'll go in like that kind of stuff. But it's the same
Listen,
token. Every time I've run in and encountered either one of your gifts, it's authentically you, 100%. Like there's nobody. I'm not trying to kill like that. Again, Brandon Butler, like you mentioned his name. Brandon Butler is one of the most, to me, one of the most dynamic organists I've ever heard. That cat can play, but
Yep.
I'm listening that Brandon and Ishmael sit side by side, and you can distinguish that Ishmael is playing and Brandon is playing at the same time. You can literally hear that.
absolutely.
And that's one of the things about that originality factor, I believe, that the young generation needs to remember. So that's something that's just good. That's just good sound teaching right there. Be the best
Hmm.
you that you could possibly be. Cotton Melody Productions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just all I need to know is the birth, the purpose, and what's next for this brand that's going to take the nation by storm.
So the birth of it, man. Of course, it came from God, inspired by God, but the birth of it, man, it came to me because I love creating music. I love at our church, and back to my mentor Jerry Henderson. He instilled in me and to little Terry at that time. It was just us. He always instilled into us, like he just talked about, the creativity. Be your own person. Don't be a copycat. So he kind of started this. Let's flip the music. Let's make it our own type thing. So on Sunday mornings, I'm kind of getting my early introduction into producing music. So once that started happening, I started liking it, and so and before I officially started it, my first, I guess, I want to say Ryan Hadley was my first one. I think I did a welcome song at that time. He was the minister of music at Greater Zion, and I did the welcome song. So he gave me a shot. And then also the Jones sisters. I did my first track with them was for them. So I wound up doing it then. So I'm like, hey, I like this creating music thing. So it started from there just for my passion of doing music. So it started from there. Our purpose, man, is just kind of to help gospel artists, man. Like to help gospel artists get their music out, to kind of help them with their vision and bring their things to life. Whatever they need to bring it to life, man, and to kind of push the gospel music out. And I am strictly a gospel musician, a gospel producer,
You heard that.
strictly a gospel producer. I don't have nothing with the devil's music, but I'm just playing joking. But but as far as gospel music, that's my thing. I love it. That's what my heart is. That's what my passion is. Gospel music. So any gospel artists out there, here at Cotton Melody Productions, we're here for all your musical needs. Call us. So yeah, so
Plug it, plug it, plug it, plug it. Just for
so
just
yeah, man. And then the future, man. Like just like to be honest with you, man, the future, of course, I don't want to sound too like a cliche, but it's man, wherever God takes us, man. And what I aspire to be is to be able to be in a position to where we're able to fund some an independent artist full
wow.
record, without them having to worry about a cost, because that's a lot of people issues now is like, oh, we want to do it, they have the passion, but it costs for these things. So we want to be in a position, eventually, hopefully sometime soon, we want to be in a position to where we're able to fund somebody's project, you
Man,
know.
that's amazing by itself. Say, man, listen. So and that's crazy. As a matter of fact, with Cotton Melody, let me dive right into it. I was actually there for He Answers Me at Calvary. Man, um, DC, like, let me just throw this out there real heavy. There was some heavy water that was treaded that night.
Yes,
Y'all,
sir.
oh my goodness, like that whole. I mean, what's been your experience with Cotton Melody Productions, man? I know you one of the faces of the brand, but like it was like, oh my God, that night was simply incredible. And DC has an amazing. I mean, he has an amazing project out that you guys need to get. If you don't have it already, don't just go stream it. It's good to stream it in the daytime, but if you purchase it, like there's power in purchase. Look at your neighbor and say there's power in purchase. That means that there's an
Yes, sir.
ownership behind that power. But yeah, talk about your relationship when it comes down to Cotton Melody Productions, man.
Um, Definitely working with Cop Melody Productions. It is a pleasure, also a task, because Ishmael he has the standard of excellence.
Yes, sir.
Like anything he's going to do, if it's not going to be of excellence, then he's not going to put his name on it. I can remember going into the studio, and before I went into the studio, Ishmael was like, they called me 20 take Ishmael. And so, I laughed it off. But listen, the dude was like, all right, that was good. All right, let's do it again. And so, I mean, he pushed until we got the sound that he felt would be, pleasing to God. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, it's a pleasure, but also it's a task. He's going to get excellence out of you. Just even the night of the release, which we're coming up on a year. So,
Yes.
even with the night of the release, um, everything. The wonderful thing about it is I didn't have to do nothing but show up and sing. Top Melody Productions did everything. They took care of everything from getting the artists to how the service was going to go to, I mean, he asked me very few questions. He was like, listen, I don't need you to worry about this. I need you to get your mind and your spirit prepared. And even up until that very day, I had to do nothing. I mean, working with Cotton Melody Productions, you're going to get quality. You're going to get quality and you're going to get excellence. Excellence is the standard. And so, I mean, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to work with Ishmael. I tell him all the time, I really appreciate who he is, and he does not let me rest. Listen, I every time I get comfortable, he like, what you working on? Come on, you ready? You ready to get back in there? And so, I mean, it's a pleasure to have somebody who trusts you and pushes you to be
That's
the
good.
best who God has called you to be. my whole deal with Ishmael when I first started was he was like, yeah, you know, you're about to be an artist, and I just hated that word artist, but he was like, you know, there's a message that you have to get out there, and
Right.
artistry is the avenue, and so that really broke down the fear barrier for me because I didn't want to lose the essence of ministry trying to be an artist,
Ah, that's a
and
word for
so
somebody.
listen, you know, but you know, once you have the mentality to understand that that is just an avenue for your ministry, that's an avenue for the message that you have to be presented. So, I mean, if you're ready, Ishmael's your guy. I'm telling you, Cotton
That,
Melody Productions
that's
Listen,
is the
it.
here
place to be.
That's it.
we're ready for you. Ready for you.
Last thing, and I'm got last thing, and we're gonna move forward, y'all. I thank you again for y'all just coming on to this platform and just talking to the people. One of the latest things that have been a child of Cotton Melody Production is the artist supporting artists. The streams have been amazing. Like the first volume, I was already like in heavy anticipation what Ishmael was getting ready to do. 'Cause I was like,
Yeah.
God, like I've been seeing now. Let's stop again. I'm that one that I'm gonna have to mention it. I have to say it. I've been watching throughout this entire pandemic everybody that's trying to do these live concerts and listen. It's been a strain. It's been a bit of a strain on some of them because everybody's not really putting in that same energy to that production piece. As a matter of fact, I would say 2 years ago, Edric Hodges is one of the people that said something that was very pivotal. He said that even when you do it, even though it's ministry, it's still production. And so it
Yeah, I
has to
remember that.
be a
Yeah.
standard that you're setting to do what you're doing as far as presenting to the people. So this artist supporting artists is let's talk about that for a quick moment, and we're gonna let y'all go. I just need y'all to give me some contact information, how to get in touch with y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all go about y'all day. That's what we're gonna do. But artist supporting artists, let's talk.
Well, artist supporting artists, man, that came about through my drummer Terry Gullis Jr. He hit me up, man, and was like, so big shout outs to Terry Gullis Jr. Everybody that boy's one of the best. Like he's my guy. He's my go-to guy. So he hit me up. He's like, hey Ish, man, how about you do a virtual concert with your artist, man, and just call some people up and let's do a virtual concert. And of course, my first thought was like, nah, I'm good. I'm chilling right now. You know, I ain't trying to do all that. And then also, I'm seeing things that's taking place online. I'm like, it's a lot of fails going on. I'm not trying to be in that number.
Right.
So he was like, nah, man, let's do it, bro. Man, we can do this. We can do that. We can do that. So after that, I thought about it. So I think I hit him up like the next day. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So we started working on it, man. Calling some people. Like I said, my team. I encourage anybody, even if you don't have a quote unquote business, anything you do, get a good team around you. So everything don't have to be on you. Like DC's a part of it, even though he's like the face and the artist of Cotton Melody Productions, but he's still working. He's still working behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
My wife, of course, Quintez Cotton, she helps out behind the scenes stuff. Raw Lisa Smith, Krishandra Gray, Karen Gullidge, Reginald Nicholas. Now, I've claimed them as a part of Cotton Melody Productions, but you know they're a part of it. But Reginald on audio, Karen Gullidge on video, Krishanda Gray on media, Ralisa, she's like our administrator, and also Ariel Sherman, she's like for the artist, support artist, she's been a part of it. She's been helping out, and also our newly member Helen Bloodworth, our PR person. They like my team is great, bro, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to do this without them. I promise you. They do so much behind the scenes stuff, and also even when I ask them, it's never why you doing this. It's never that, bro. They're like, all right, cool, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. But and then the thing is, like, I never claim to know everything. So I like to surround myself around people that know more about certain things than me. So if it's their area, I let them operate. And then even when I ask them to do stuff that I might not know what I'm talking about, they don't make me feel crazy. Like, what are you talking about? No, they be like, all right, I'll listen, but this is how we should do it. And I just go with them, bro. So I always encourage people to surround themselves with that. But the artist supporting artists, man, that's just something that came about, something to do to encourage us during this pandemic time. Even that's the stuff that's going on now, man. I feel like it's something not really to take our mind off it, but just something that's encouraging. We've seen a lot of negativity and stuff that's going on, So I feel like that's something that's helping with the encouragement of what's going on. So and it's been great, and I appreciate y'all support. Everybody's out there that's been supporting, man. I really appreciate it, man. I've been getting y'all texts, y'all, the notifications, everything, man. And even the cash apps. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything.
This has been an amazing DC Ishmael Cotton Melody Productions. Thank y'all so much. Talking to the people. This has been amazing. Again, y'all, we're looking for some great things coming from Cotton Melody Productions, and you heard it from the guys themselves. If you're looking for a label that is really put there to push you to your excellence, to your level of perfection, to put out an amazing product, then you need to talk to the great Dr. Reverend, Cotton Melody Productions. So again, thank y'all so much for coming on today. And y'all, we got a little something for y'all in case y'all may have missed one of the artists supporting artists. I got something coming for y'all in one moment. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
y'all, we back. We are back. We're back. I have an amazing artist that is with me. Y'all, this is somebody that's gonna be like y'all. You have to watch out for her because she's amazing just for who she is. Like I'm just gonna put it out there just like that. If you have not heard her ministry, if you have not heard her sing somewhere, if you have not heard her, you about to be in for a treat. That's just who she is, and I'm talking about none other than the great one, Miss Drea Marie. Ah! I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
What up, brother? What up? What up?
That's good. Thank you so much for being a part of the show on tonight. I really, really appreciate you coming into this
Okay, there
platform.
you go. I can hear you.
You
Yes,
got me.
sir.
You
All
got
right.
me. Yeah, I appreciate you coming onto the platform. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This has been amazing. This has been an amazing night. And they say you say the best for last. Now she got on me behind stage. I'm not gonna talk about it. Too
I know
bad.
you lying.
But like she but
Enjoyed it. I caught everybody. I think. Yeah, I caught everybody from Titus to DC and Humble Ish.
humble, right? And that's one of the things. Again, I want y'all to understand. Like this is how crazy. Like you just cross paths with people and you never know the impact that they'll play on you. It like you just pass by the IRAA awards. I met,
Yeah.
we crossed paths. We've crossed paths before. And she's like, hey,
Uh-huh.
Johnny. And y'all should have said like she had on this banging dress, y'all. I gotta give it to you. Like it was
Which one?
the red. Oh,
Which one?
let me know. I'm just saying. I'm just I told y'all I had that air horn. I told y'all. But y'all, and from that, like just humble conversations. I began. Of course, you start looking at people when a certain level of a person hits you, it makes you it gives you that intriguing factor. And I started watching and paying attention. And Drea has been, she's number one, not just one of the greatest voices and vocalists that you've heard around. Period. But her spirit, she's humble, and she has a level of excellency when it comes down to ministering, and I do mean excellent. I was on my way home from New Orleans one day, and I'm watching my home church. I'm literally on Bonnie Care watching my home church on the phone, and I hear his voice out of. Shout out to Rose Hill Church, Baton Rouge. Pastor Danny M. Donaldson. Is that what? Flip my phone up, man. Drea is in there putting pressure on the
I
Saints.
forgot you're the one that called me and that was the first time I had heard myself on Kirk Franklin's station. I forgot you were the one that made the call. I was sitting in a restaurant
Yeah,
with Kim Sky and James Thomas, and we were just sitting there eating. Boy, I took out running with my phone
man.
to the car. The people was looking at me like, is she running out on her check? What is she doing? I was like, I'll be back. I'm on the
Y'all, and again, shout out to Isaac Curry for good
Absolutely.
vibes. And again, you paying attention, and all of a sudden, and I looked at the name. It comes across the radio. I was like, Drea, I'm shaking in the car trying to get a message to her. Like
Oh
you are
man,
on Kurt Franklin radio. Like you, yeah.
that was pretty amazing. Yeah, man. Shout out to Isaac Kareem for that.
And that's the thing, man. From local artists to being on a national platform, it all equates and it all is a product of your humility and your true passion for this.
To God be the glory.
So let me ask the question: with the style, the grace, the vocal presence, and the anointing, where did it all begin for Drea?
Oh man, I always tell this story. Little black girl from the projects. For me, I mean, my mom kept us in church. Always. I remember being 5 years old and they reaching me a mic and I'm, singing like we had that family where when we had the gatherings and the get-togethers, my mama called us and me and my little sister in the middle of the room, in the living room, and be like, sing this little light of mine. So I started out at a very young age with my family as my audience, and then baptized at Progressive Baptist Church, Uptown Third Ward. Always singing in a little sunbeam choir,
Not
you
just some.
know, yes, singing in the sunbeam choir. And I just, for whatever reason, I loved the forefront. I loved the forefront. And I think it's a part of because for the most part with me, a lot of people know because I share my testimony all the time. I grew up most of my elementary and middle school years we were homeless, right? And so I always tell this story about being in Popeyes on a Thanksgiving morning, and the cameras coming in, and the cameras were on us, and I was in my mom's arms. And I remember they were doing this story on Popeyes feeding this, the homeless people, what they're doing for New Orleans homeless people. And I knew that I loved to sing. That was my escape, right?
Right.
So I looked at my mom. At that time I didn't understand, I guess I was about 9 years old, maybe 8, 9 years old. I didn't understand um that this wasn't being broadcasted across the nation. I just knew cameras were in my face. This was for the local news though. So I said to my mom, I said, one day I'm gonna be famous. And I didn't mean it in a way of I'm gonna be famous and just be on TV and be a star and all of that, right?
Right.
For
Right.
me
Right.
as a kid in that moment, I felt that the next time the cameras would be on me, it was gonna be because I was singing, and that was my escape. Remember, that was my escape from what
Right.
I was dealing with. So
Right.
I said, one day I'm gonna be famous, and I'm gonna be on TV, and I'm gonna sing. And I kept that promise to myself, because music ministry, that's my escape.
Right. And see, and that's one of the things that I think that makes it even more so real for you. Which actually answered my actual next question: when did you know it was going to be headed into an actual career? And I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Titus. What was the kick, as well as the voice and the vocal presence? You could sing literally any genre of music that you want. Like you really can. You have that
I
ability.
could try.
You can try, but the one thing that again that is very drawing about your music is that you have a passion when you sing about the Lord that is unprecedented when it comes down to certain people. Because again, some people can get up and just sing a church song, but then there's somebody that sings from a place of experience, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that
For me,
pushes.
it's just all about, remembering where God has brought me from and where I could be. You
Ah,
know what I mean? Like, y'all see the, I laugh a lot, I joke a lot, I like to have fun, this, that, and the other, but it comes from a place because I know where I could be. And I'm just grateful for God just bringing me from a mighty long way. So every chance I get, man, I worship. Like I said, worship is my escape. So that's just where it comes from. It's real for me.
and that's the thing. So y'all, let me throw this out here because I'm being picky now. Drea has an amazing livelihood when it comes down. Like she does everything to the fullest, number one, but she does everything well. And my question would be, well, how do you balance the entire Drea Marie package? Like not only a singer, the Grandmaster Chef, a mother. Like she does all of these things, and she
Let's
does
not
it.
forget Arthur.
And
God
that wait,
bless you.
excuse me, author. Let me make sure and has the time to write it down, write the vision, and make the vision quite plain. She got
Listen,
what
eh,
what gives you that push and gives you that split of your time and yourself.
you know, I just say I remember. Huh, I just say I asked God for this. So how dare I sit back and not appreciate it? So I just told God, whatever He allowed me to do, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. I'm gonna go 100 on everything that I do. And the great thing about it is I actually love everything that I do. You
Ah,
know, that's a great thing. They say it ain't work if you love what you're doing, right?
that's facts.
So and because I come from nothing, I made up in my mind, and that little boy or that man boy up in there ain't gonna ever have to want for nothing. And I plan to leave a legacy for my son. So as a single mother, I gotta work my butt off to make sure that that happens, and that's what I'm gonna do.
And
Period. And so a lot of people reach out to me to be a part of different things that they have going on for as their business, because they see my personality, and I'm great with sales and marketing and different things like that. But my thing is I have to want to do it, because if not, I'm not going to give my all, and I'm not going to. One thing I don't do is get involved in things that I'm not passionate about, or don't get involved in things that I won't give
that's
100%
good.
to.
That's good.
And so that kind of helps. Like I don't have to be on the program. I don't have to be listed, as, oh, Drea did this. I don't have to. because I'm great with being great behind the scenes. Just like right now, it's a season. You have to, and then you have to know also how I balance it out. You have to know the seasons
Ah,
that you're in. For example, right now, Drea Marie the artist. Yes, I'm still promoting myself as Drea Marie the artist, and yeah, I'm still pushing myself, but I can't get on nobody's stage right now. So I have to be Drea Marie the chef.
come
I
on.
have many talents. God didn't just give me a voice. So I have to I have to use the other gifts that God gave me. I grew up writing poems all my life and I got out of it. And a lot of times we sit around and we like we don't have time to do this. We too busy because we're running and we're booked and busy and this, that, and the other. Well,
Right.
this pandemic has shut all of us down. So okay, God gave you these books a long time ago. Let's go. So you have to know the season and operate in that season, knowing that what God already gave you, the CDs and everything, is still relevant. But
Right,
work the
right, right.
season,
See,
work the gift in that season.
and that's the thing, y'all. Like when I tell y'all, and it's crazy. I'm gonna throw just a few things up. Like the whole again, it's the Drea Marie experience. If you've never seen someone that knows how to encourage people, like this is one of the things that you can see. She does the face, the presence, the brilliance of who she is as an overall person. Like it, again, you don't just come about these things just sitting down and being bored. That kind of situation. Um, they seeing some great stuff on the screen, by the way. I just wanted you to know that.
Are they? What
Let's
are
talk
they
about
saying?
like see, I'm gonna let her see that when she get ready to see that. But y'all listen, she does again an amazing thing. And let's talk about this like again. Let's talk about it. Like I'm not worried about me on screen, but this right here, uh, Drea's kitchen. Listen, listen again, you have to be somebody that's versed, and that's the thing about it. God gives gifts without repentance, and I believe that He has the ability to make sure you have the power to gain wealth even in pandemics. And that's the crazy thing about it. A lot of people, and musicians wise, especially singers, had this thing where they went through that drought because they solely depended on one gift, not realizing that God has given you a multitude of gifts. And you were able to lock into something that is essential for everybody. Because you know what, you may not need to hear a note of music, but everybody got to eat.
Absolutely, man. And I always, when it comes to my gifts and even my son's gift, because I'm responsible for him right now, I always think about, and I can't think of who it was in the Bible, but the man in the Bible where when God gave Jesus gave everybody this one gift, but it was only one that brought it back multiplied, right?
Yeah,
So
come
I'm like,
on.
I want to be that one, God. Like
Come
I
on,
don't want to just
talents.
sit on him, right? And so that's just it for me. Like I don't want, like DC said, I don't want God to humble me. Or I don't want God to get at me. I'm gonna get at myself. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
I try, and I mean I ain't perfect. I miss the mark sometimes because there's so many talents and gifts that God has given to me. And I mean sometimes I miss the mark, but for the most part, I try to do what He's telling me to do in that season so that it can be fruitful. You know.
and that leads me right into the project on purpose. The on purpose, the entire project. Like if you haven't had a chance to get, y'all go find. I'm telling y'all, these projects will bless you. Again, I don't mind you streaming. I love the idea that you guys are keeping the streaming because they get paid from streaming too. However, take a
However,
invest dot dot dot. However, dot dot dot.
yeah,
They it takes nothing but a few. Like again, a lot of the money that we would have, we throw it away, and rather than supporting our own. And we have people that don't mind coming and support your programs and blessing and gracing the stage where you are and helping building your platform. But how often are we when it comes down to returning the favor for support? That kind of thing. And
absolutely.
so, and Drea, I'm telling you, she's literally a call away. If she can help it, she will. I know this
I
for a
do.
fact.
I honestly don't mind giving no type of advice or whatever it is. That's me. Pick up the phone. I got you. Even I've had people even inbox me who don't have my cell phone number, and if I'm able to, I pick up the video. If I'm appropriate. It's a pandemic, so don't just be videoing me. But I pick up the phone and I talk to them and I tell them everything I know. Now after that, it's up to you to do what you got to do because I can't do it for you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what it comes down to, man. It has been amazing. So listening at the On Purpose to get into that Kurt Franklin radio status, being an amazing author, a chef, a mother, an artist. What would you give as far as advice to the generation that's coming up behind us? To be that minstrel, to be that Levite, to be that, because again, ministry is no longer just one aspect. It's an entire scope. What would you
Hmm.
give as far as advice to those
I
people
would
that?
I would definitely say you got to be like that horse with the blinders on. I think that's the word,
That's it.
where they're focused. You can't look to your left, you can't look to your right. You have to focus on what God has told you to do. I know I heard you talking to the others about support and how do they feel about this and the other. Well, for me, I feel like God didn't give them the vision. He gave it to you. So you got to focus on what he gave to you,
That's it.
whether they come with you or not. And then truth be told, we all know that everybody's not going where God is taking you. So I had to myself stop worrying about the support because God is going to send who is supposed to support and who is, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
fact.
eventually, like Pastor Bishop Reverend PJ Morton said,
Uh-huh.
when it's all said and done, they gonna want to come. So at the end of the day, my advice is to focus on the call, focus on the promise of God, focus on what he told you to do, because if he told you to do it, then he's going to prosper it and he's going to make it great. And you're going to have what you need to succeed. So that's my advice. Stay focused. Don't even worry about that. And I'm preaching to the choir right now, because a lot of times we expect people to give us the support and love that we give them,
That's
but it
good.
doesn't work like that.
That's good. That is good. Because
It doesn't work like that.
I know that firsthand because I went through that season, that one season where I was like, man, I support X, Y, Z, and it's almost like you really slapping God in the face in that regard because God gave you the resources and the means to support somebody, and it's actually a blessing to be able to support in that regard. So I want to say again, amazing job on Drea, the experience overall. She is amazing at who she is. Again, chef, artist. She is the
Yes,
queen.
and my new book, Command Your Day on Purpose, is available for pre-sale. I just put that out a few days ago, and I'm super excited about the pre-sales that are coming in. You know, people be like, oh, got it, got it. They don't know is I can see who purchased it. I'm the author, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those who have clicked that button and got it. I'm so grateful, y'all.
I gotta
If
make sure I
y'all are
get my copy.
watching, I know it's late. Go pre-order it, Amazon Kindle, and then you can also pre-order the paperback that will be in July 1st, July 2nd when it's released. But you can inbox me and I'll guide you to pre-order that one. And I mean, thank you to everybody that's been supporting thus far, especially with my son. I got to put a plug in, Johnny. My
Yes.
son has been doing bacon wrapped chicken breast for the past 2 days. Let me tell you something. That young man is amazing. I'm super proud of him. And thank you to everybody that loves my son just as much as y'all love me, because they have been supporting. Even those who don't want it, they've been just donating, hitting up my Cash App and my Zelle. Thank y'all so very much. But y'all can put y'all order in tonight. God bless you.
God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Drea Marie, and I'm putting this information on the screen. When all of this is over and said and done, her information is there as far as booking information. She's there, singer, songwriter, worship leader, author, chef, you name it, she is
Absolutely.
just that. So make sure you guys reach out. You continue to support not only her vision, her dream, but her as a person overall. And I want to take this time to say thank you again, Miss Drea, for coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
Some love in this platform. It's been amazing. So we will talk to you soon, hopefully, and we got some other things coming up we want to get your input on, and I will be seeing you soon, guys. I'll be back with you guys in a minute with some final thoughts, and I'm out. All right.
Thank you, brother.
been an amazing show. Thank you guys for tuning in on tonight. Again, for the tightest showers, for Cotton Melody Production, Ishmael Cotton and DC Cross, and the Queen herself, Drea Marie. It has been an amazing experience. But before we go, I do want to make sure I make mention of this one thing that has been really, really plaguing us across the scenes. And I was going to open the floor up tonight, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been led for me not to do so, I'll tell you why in a moment. One of the things that has been plaguing us to the highest right now is the systematic racism that has been going on across the United States of America with the death of George Floyd and all of these things that have been going on in this season. The police brutality against African American men, the true colors of people that are coming out everywhere, because it's people that you've been knowing for years and years. Honest to God, you didn't know that they had those kind of feelings toward you until this information and all of this stuff start coming to surface. So I want you to make sure that you keep your heart guarded. Make sure you keep your mind guarded. Make sure you keep yourself guarded. And don't find yourself in a situation to where you're becoming just another face in the crowd. But you're making sure that you're quite informed about everything that is going on around you. Again, it's been amazing when it comes down to the level of support that we've gotten around the world. The African American community definitely wants to say thank you to the entire world for holding protests to make sure that this type of injustice that has been going on in America for the longest is going to be televised. And again, as much as they want to shut down media as it pertains to what's going on, I want to thank outlets like Twitter. Truth of the matter, who is taking the time. People have cameras everywhere and eyes are literally all across the world in showing how this racism and how these things and how police have been abusing power for years and is now coming to the forefront. And I honestly believe that we can, and I just enact change on the platform of just protesting alone. We can't enact change on the platform of just rioting alone. Again, we've been trying it for years for peaceful manners. So now the final stages of what we've been going through, we're finally being heard. And we got police that are being prosecuted, being arrested, that are being reprimanded in the proper ways to serve justice for their injustice. So in that regard, make sure that you keep yourself guarded. I know these videos sometimes are just hard to watch, but don't become so consumed with those videos that you can't function, because truth of the matter is, I'll be honest, anxiety is higher than it has ever been, and I'm not that type of person to go through those levels of anxiety. However, make sure that you're quite informed. What can you do? If you're not able to go out and protest, what can you do? You may not agree with this, you may not agree with me, but it's the only thing that's going to really, really bring about change and going to bring about work. Number one, you will have to get out and vote. You have to. It's not about the national elections to me. I can care less. I still vote, but I can care less about national elections. I honestly can. But when you're talking about the locale, the place right where you live, holding the representatives that are representing your area of the city, holding those people accountable for what is going on in your neighborhood. You can hold them accountable, and if they're not accountable for it, vote them on out of there. Like, go to the polls and get these people that have been in these positions for 10 plus years and you have not seen effective change anywhere. Get them out of office. Like, you can do that. You have the power. As long as you have the power to vote, you have the power to change the situation of what's going on around you. Again, even some of the people that we hold in leadership standards, from pastors to judges to even the police chief, sometimes you just got to go and report. Make sure you report it all. Report it all. If you're experiencing some type of a racism type situation when it comes down to law enforcement, put it out there. Make sure people hear. Make sure your voice is heard. And you can't always get your voice heard by making noise. Like, sometimes you have to be ready to talk about things that are not going to be popular. Everybody's not going to like the platform on which I'm talking on this, because everybody doesn't believe in that. Everybody doesn't believe in the power of voting. I do, because I know what votes can do locally. A lot of these people that have been in office, again, for years, they've been in this seat because people have become comfortable with what they're doing. But if you're tired of seeing your black brothers and sisters thrown in jail for minuscule charges, then it's time to vote the DA out. It's time to start voting these people out and getting people in office that will not only represent you for the betterment of us as a people overall, but that will uphold the standards when it comes down to justice. Do not let your voice go without being heard. That's the most thing. If I can't tell you anything else, and the one thing that these riots and the protesting has taught me, honest to God, is to make sure that I'm not silent by what I'm doing. Like, I'm not gonna just sit back and say I wish I could. There are people that have different ends of the spectrum. There's the people that say that this is supposed to happen and the violence is necessary. And to me, again, if peaceful protesting hasn't been working, finally you've stepped into a realm to where something now has gotten everybody's attention. I will give you that. I'm not a fan of the looting. That's not my thing. I'm not talking about going and get stuff and taking advantage. Though people that are taking advantage, the small percentage, let me make sure I say that, the small percentage of those who are taking advantage of the situation as a whole. I'm not talking about those people. But those who are peacefully protesting and doing what the Constitution says that you have the right to do, those are the people that I'm in support and in favor of, even while law enforcement everywhere are doing again, Twitter has exposed so much that we need to be very, very cognitive of. And one of the things is look at some of the videos that are coming out. They're literally strategically putting agitators in the middle of these peaceful protests to start riots, to start confusion, to start and incite violence, and then they use their abrasive and brutality and force to try to calm down a situation that they actually was the ones to begin. Don't fall victim. I want to shout out to a friend, Ruben Lael, in Dallas, which was amazing within himself. He was one of the people that looked, and you start seeing things like pallets of bricks that are being put in protest zones to incite riots, like that kind of thing. People want to, like, when you come out as a police officer knowing that it's a peaceful protest, but you come in riot gear, you're looking for a fight. I don't care what nobody has to say about it. You come out looking for a fight. And I'm just saying, if you come in looking for a fight, that's what the people are going to give you. When it now came down to the New Orleans protest, I'm glad somebody actually talked about it. When it came down to that, when you come dressed in riot gear, you're looking to fight. You're not looking to protect and serve. If they say we're going to have a peaceful protest, let it be a peaceful protest, but don't come out and start throwing your weight around, start pushing your weight around, and start pushing the people around that are actually, you are working for the people. And that's what it comes down to, knowing your power. They are public servants. You are their boss, in a sense. You gotta make sure you understand that. If it's not for your tax dollars, they wouldn't get paychecks. Let's call it like that, because again, we need to make sure that when they have town halls, we need to make sure we're holding our local government accountable. We need to start having things that come up, like a community review board for these law enforcement officers that have long records and records on top of records on top of records of all of this animalistic behavior, and we're not holding them accountable for it. If they don't get rid of those officers, get rid of the chief that's allowing them to work in their departments. Like that, these are the kind of things. We're not going to be able to get all of this taken care of in one day, y'all. I'm just saying it just like it is. We're not going to be able to do it in one day. It has to be just as systematic as it has been for us to be torn down. We have to be just as systematic in rebuilding everything that has been destroyed. And so the thing again, do not let the propaganda fool you and think that you just causing riots and screaming and fighting in the street is going to win. When, again, the best way to work your enemy is to make sure that you are working your enemy to the fact that they don't even know that they being worked. They think they're oppressing you, and all along, next thing you know, they wake up one morning and they're being brought before a board that says, you got to get out of here. We tired of you. Election results come out and say, oh, your time is up. We getting somebody here that's going to serve the community for real, for real. They getting that alert that says no longer will you be on the taxpayer's dime and going to treat the taxpayers as if they're not the ones that's handling your finances and keeping your lights on and keeping your family fed and that kind of thing. So again, everything that we have to learn from the many deaths of innocent black men, my heart goes out to the families and everybody that's affected by seeing this on such a grand scale, grand level. However, make sure that when you say that you're going to support, don't support just by just holding a fist up. Don't support just by the notion of Black Lives Matter and putting a hashtag behind it. Don't support just by sharing and liking the image. Make sure that when you have an opportunity to enact change, that you enact that change. Make sure that when you have an opportunity to have your voice heard, make sure your voice is heard. Make sure that whatever you do when it comes down to this conversation, when it pertains to systematic racism in the United States of America, I'm not concerned about I'm not concerned about 45. He is the least of my worries. He can have a Bible wherever he wants. Doesn't make him anything more. They got preachers in the pulpit with Bibles. Don't make them saints. Don't make them real pastors. That's just the truth of the matter. Anybody can hold a Bible. Matter of fact, you can go to your local hotel and find a Bible in the drawer. That doesn't mean that you're following the precepts and concepts of a good God. Because I can't see a nation that says, in God we trust, but we beat the people down. I can't see a nation that says, in God we trust, but we are oppressing his children. I can't see that happen like that. So the thing about it is, don't get drawn in by the propaganda and just look at it from one side. Holistically and systematically will be the only way that we can enact change in our local states, and our local localities, cities, and eventually, one day, this honestly going to enact change in the United States of America. Y'all, it's been an amazing show. Thank you so much again to Titus Showers, to Cotton Melody Productions, for coming on. And also thank you to Drea Marie, the queen herself. These are examples of what Black excellence is all about. These are examples of what Black excellence is all about. Doing what you can locally to support and make sure that everybody's taken care of when it comes down to a national level. You never hear them hit the negative, and they make sure that they're doing what's necessary to survive in the United States of America. Thank you so much for tuning in on tonight. It is that guy Jay Hen. Follow the conversation. Continue to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just make sure subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're pushing that every day. More content is coming. Greater content is coming. Send your suggestions. Inbox me. DM me. Whatever you got to do, make sure you reach out. And whatever the topic is, hey, it's just talk. Let's talk about it, all right? I'll see you guys on the next.
Where are you?